Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. I'm your host, Mark, and we got a fun episode of more Xenos ahead of us. Joining me to talk about all these filthy, lovely Xenos is Gerald. Well, yo.
Hello, I'm excited to be talking about our discount covenant. And
We
yes,
got-
I know we talked about when the Tau and the Covenant came out, but I'm going to call them discount covenant for the bit.
No, I'm okay with it for sure. We also got another Tau hater with us. Yo, Logan.
I'm not a Tau hater. I'm a communism hater.
Oh, okay.
So it's really close. It's really adjacent. They're right on that border for me.
Man. Now I'm going to get all these messages about Tau not actually being communists. They're closer to a caste system of India and blah, blah, blah. What have you done to my inbox with that
Just
statement?
reply with the gif of this. Oh, did someone call the Tau communist?
Oh no. Yeah. Maybe I'll try that. Normally I get Trevor Buzak to deal with all incoming email like that. So he's pretty good at that. But
yeah, dude. You can also CC me and I'll double down on it. Just
yeah, we're talking about Tau today. You know, Tau is basically my first army. I like to shit on them. I also like them a lot. So it's just kind of one of those things. It's a love-hate relationship whenever it comes to Xenos.
I had Tau. They were my only Xenos army.
What happened?
I didn't have time to play him, and my buddy got into him, so I've just been slowly selling him the stuff.
Okay. Nice. Pro painted, eBay quality.
Yeah, pro painted. They all 100% didn't look something like this when I sold them to it.
Nice.
Ooh. I still am seriously considering doing bionic crew at some point.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, sadly, no Kroot in this episode. We're talking in the chat earlier. Hey to everyone in the chat room. They're talking about Kroot being the best, and they're going to make an appearance this episode, but no, not this time.
They had their own episode, buddies.
Yeah, this episode, and they don't technically work for they only work for the Tau. They're not actually part of the Empire, so that's the other big distinguishing line. But this episode, we're going to be going over the Galg, the Nicassar, the Tarellian, and the Vespid. But before we do all that, just some quick housekeeping.
So the Discord's a thing, over 3,000 strong, last I heard. So we're at 3 chapters worth of members. So let's see if we can make it to.
That's a fun way to measure things.
Yeah. Well, now we got to make a new goal. We got to match the Black Templars, which last I checked were 6,000 strong. So there we go. That's our new goal.
All right, let's get after it, boys. Yeah. We also have the Patreon. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to come join the Imperial Tithe. Go to Patreon, join Lorehammer. Ad-free version for $2.50 and a video version for $5. So pretty cheap, pretty reasonable. You get 12 episodes, if not more, a month. So you're talking, 36 hours of content for $2.50. So pretty good deal.
Best deal I've heard of all day.
Heck yeah.
And the best part, if you pay $5, you get everything he just sold you. Plus, you get to see our beautiful faces and all the funny reactions we make when we're making fun of the Tau being communist and crying.
Cry more commies. Yeah, man. And then we do some call-in guests at the end, which are always very fun.
True.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't done any call-ins in a minute. The episodes have been either going long or my battery's been blowing up. But I think this one's the one. Let's see if we can maybe get a call-in. But
right as he says that, he just cuts to black.
Yeah. And he's gone. Cool. So we're going to stick to the similar formatting I've been doing with these other Mino Xenos. So we're going to talk, a little overview, then their appearance and biology, powers and abilities, their history, their home world, culture and beliefs, technology, military, and galactic relations. And then if they have any minis, we'll mention them or rules or what we think we might do. We won't go too hard on that kind of bit, but we sometimes have the odd idea like, this would make a great count ads for this or whatever. So gonna be a fun episode. I think the first one we are doing is Galg. Oh, there's one more other little disclaimer here before we get into the Galg. The Tau Empire is a big empire. There are many different aliens that are a part of it. I do have a list here. When I chose these 4 to do in this style, this big drawn out style, it's because they had the most information on them. All these other ones, like the fucking, I don't know, the Jictrix or the Morellian. There's a bunch in here that the Kroot have that just have no information, so they didn't make it, but they do exist. So I'll give you a little rundown on all of the Tau Xenos so far, and then we'll really dive into the big 4 that we're talking about tonight. So the Demiurge, a faction of Leagues of Votan that supports the Tau. They got their own episode because, man, they fall into a unique little niche there themselves. Yeah. Then we got the Domatai. They contribute worm ships to the Tau fleet. The Galg, which we'll be talking about. The Greet contribute line ships and stealthers to the Tau fleet. The Guvessa, which are humans aligned with the Tau. The Herinian, and they're employed as light infantry. The Jiktrax, which are voidfarers. The Kroot, we know them, we love them. They got jizzy hands. The Vespid, flying insectoids that use neutron weapons. They'll be in this episode. The Morellian, they're soldiers. The Deathsworn fight alongside the Tau. The Nicassar, they are, I can't wait to describe these guys to you. If you don't know what they look like, they are fun. But they'll be in this episode too. We got the Otense Council, which I had never heard of until writing this episode. Now I'm always poking my nose back in these filthy xenos. And they contribute winged discs to the Tau fleet. We got the Ranghan, recently assimilated into the Tau Empire. The Tarellian, which we'll be doing this episode. The Thraxian. Some people include them in the Tau Empire, some don't. They were that race that upgraded themselves with bionics and like the size of Titans and took on I forget which Titan Legion, but we did an episode on them too. They're pretty cool. And finally, the Vorg, a species so large that it can go toe to toe with super heavy combat walkers. So pretty fucking cool. All types.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them, they just have that one cool tagline that just is enough to get you wanting more. But yeah, we just don't have a lot of information on some of these. So
wasn't it like most of them only have like one sentence's worth of information in the codex or something?
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah.
Just make it up. It's all fan fiction at this point. Just
say
whatever you want.
Might as well, yeah.
Hey, GW themselves have said everything is canon, so
yeah.
True.
If they can,
but not everything is true. But not everything is true.
Yeah. They can come out with female custodians. I can write better lore than that. So whatever I'm writing, it counts.
I'm like the number one hater of that.
All right, let's get into the Galg. We'll start off with a fun quote.
What voice should I do? Also, I want to apologize to this episode's editor in advance. I almost choked on a sandwich before we got started today, so I'm going to be coughing a lot.
It's still halfway down.
Yep.
Dude, I've been sick and coughing, and that's why I keep muting, because I'm just constantly in a perpetual, I have to cough. I have to cough.
What voice should I give this guy? I'll take suggestions. Anyone in the chat? Anybody?
Talk like this the whole time.
I don't like it.
Okay, Mark doesn't like it, so that's a no-go.
I disagree. The Tau arrive at your world.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die if I do that.
I'll do something better. Just to kind of meld that with something else. The Tau arrived at your world with a fleet, tanks, attack.
That is the worst Inquisitor ever.
Disagree.
Inquisitor Golem over there.
I think a creepy bureaucrat would sound exactly like that.
I don't know whether to keep going with this for the bit or just. Fire warriors in battle suits, and they asked if you want to join in their quest to achieve the greater good. Yes, precious. Well, that's the way I think it happened with the Galgs. The Galgses were clevers. Clever Galgses, enough to say yes. But there's... I can't do it.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Someone needs to exterminate us that Inquisitor for sure.
The Galgs are clever enough to say yes, but there are some records that show what happens to those worlds who say no. Sooner or later, they either say yes, with their cities burning and their soldiers rotting in their open graves, or are in no position to say anything at all. There.
Nice, yeah.
Tied it up real quick.
Yeah.
All right. The Galg are a rare and obscure xeno species found on the fringes of the galaxy, most notably encountered as auxiliaries within the Tau Empire. Very little is known about them, even by the standards of xenological archives, and their appearances in the wider Imperium are vanishingly rare. What distinguishes them is not their strength in numbers or military dominance, but their willingness to collaborate with other races, particularly the Tau. Though not frequently seen, their inclusion in the Tau military operations as auxiliary troops marks them as at least diplomatically active. Their obscurity leaves many questions unanswered, including their long-term goals or whether they serve the greater good out of belief, coercion, or convenience. Maybe it's all of the above. The Imperium of Man, ever xenophobic, classifies them as an abominable alien species worthy only of extermination, which, if we're being honest, is pretty much all the alien species. Still, their involvement with the Tau. One Imperium to rule them all. One Imperium to exterminate us. Still, their involvement with the Tau suggests intelligence, organization, and a survival instinct potent enough to cross cultural and biological divides.
Oh man. And I just pulled up a picture of the Galg, and they look fucked.
I was
I don't know
just
what you're
about to
talking
say, like,
about.
I saw a split second. I'm like, Mark, why are you showing us your dick pic?
Yeah. Yeah.
The podcast host, thinly veiled fetish right here.
Oh, yeah. Don't you just want it to worm its way around you, wiggle? Basically, we're looking at like a pile of tentacles attached to a pile of tentacles. So that's pretty nice. Yeah. Their appearance and biology. The Galg are noted for their tall, serpentine physiology, making them stand out against many xenos races, catalogued in Imperial records. Their elongated bodies resembled those of aquatic or reptilian species, and they are often depicted with multiple arms or appendages, though exact anatomical details remain scarce due to the limited direct observation. It is suggested they may be semi-aquatic, or at least comfortable in humid or water-rich environments. Their long limbs and flexible structure likely make them agile, especially in close combat or stealth scenarios. The Galg's physiology might also support sensory organs adapt to low light or atmospheric variants, although this remains speculative. They wear body armor and carry weapons when operating alongside the Tau, implying a degree of physical vulnerability, despite their alien elegance. Their biology seems well suited to integrated combat roles, though few Imperial Xenos biologists have had the opportunity or desire to study a living specimen in detail. Yeah, what do you think these guys smell like? I just imagine in the folds of some of those reeking Xenos arms is just moldy and not good.
I think Nurgle would have a good time, but I know we won't.
No. Yeah, Purge is saying, is that those monster dildos use certain entertainment legal in Texas? Yeah, you see this Xenos on OnlyFans for sure getting involved. Yeah.
Thought I escaped this last week.
We're back.
Oh my goodness.
Earthworm Jim on track.
See, Purge agrees with me. Or
Another
I guess my mic
famous
is muted, but
actor.
I think they smell like an octopus, and Purge thinks they smell like fish.
Yeah, not good.
What do they sound like? Is it just like plap, 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 plap if they're running at you?
Yeah.
I think that's less terrifying than just like you're in a hallway and just plap, 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 plap.
I hate both of them. This one needs to die. This Xenos needs to die with heavy flame
Purge
or
it with
fire
fire.
for sure.
All right. Let's talk about their powers. While going plap, 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 plap. No, I'm kidding. While the Galg do not appear to wield psychic powers or possess any overly supernatural abilities, they do seem to use powerful biological and tactical they do bring useful biological and tactical assets to the battlefield. Their physical agility, oh god, coupled with long-reaching limbs and flexible torsos, may allow them to perform tasks or movements that other humanoid species cannot. Their coordination in small squad-based actions suggest acute spatial awareness and perhaps non-verbal communication. Galg warriors have been seen using advanced firearms and operating fluidly in alien environments, indicating strong adaptability. If indeed semi-aquatic, they could thrive in conditions hostile to most Tau or human units. offering strategic value in planetary assaults. While no reports confirm regeneration, poison use, or stealth-based camouflage, their xenos biology may still grant minor situational advantages. Their greatest power, however, may simply lie in their willingness to integrate with the Tau, gaining access to power, weaponry, and armor far more advanced than their own. So that agility comment made me think that the plot might not be out of the realm of possibility. Mike, or you're muted.
Mark, you're muted.
Yeah. I live on the ocean with octopuses, and like they don't look like they would be agile, but man, they're quick. They're flinging all over. And what's really crazy about octopuses, they can even run on the land. And I've seen that happen a couple times where they're running across the land. And this would operate that very same way with just like flapping arms across. Dragon so quick, kind of unpredictable in its movements.
That's creepier than I was picturing like a Squidward running kind of thing where the legs are just one over the other. But if it's just wildly flying, that's horrifying.
Yeah, and I can imagine there is no real up or down to this beast. When I'm looking at pictures, it kind of has an up, but man, there's so many tentacles all over. It feels like it could run just kind of any way it needs to. Or squelch, I suppose.
I don't like that. It squelches around. Ugh.
Yeah. Fuzz says octopus can be very agile and dexterous for sure. And then the stealth mission aspect that keeps getting brought up with the Galg is kind of cool too. When we look at octopus and how they can sneak through any size hole, essentially. Just imagine these Galg doing the same thing.
I saw a video once of one that was actually sealed in a jar of peanut butter, and it was sealed up so tight, but it was in there, and it managed to unseal itself and get back out.
Crazy, yeah, they're crazy creatures. All right, let's talk about
those
the
interested in the. To those interested in the Imperial Tithe channel, I just posted a GIF of the from Monsters Inc.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of flailing around.
Yeah, that's funny. The Galg's history remains mostly unrecorded in Imperial archives, which is not uncommon for species operating far from the influences of Terra. What is known is filtered largely through interactions with the Tau Empire, where they have served as auxiliary forces in a number of campaigns. The earliest confirmed sightings of the Galg warriors date back to the Damocles Gulf Crusade, where they encountered the Imperium fighting alongside the Tau Firecast troops. It is unclear whether their alliance was a result of conquest, negotiation, or mutual enemy. What little is understood suggests that the Galg were independent species before joining the Tau, likely encountered during the Tau's third sphere of expansion. There is no evidence that they maintained a large interstellar dominion, and it is likely their history is one of adaptation rather than conquest. Their current survival under the Tau's protective umbrella may be the key to their continued existence. Yeah. So we don't really know much about them. These guys are intelligent, and they're intelligent to write their own history and stuff, but maybe they're just so foreign and so alien that it just is just what are they writing about? Okay, then we squelched to this planet. We oozed on this planet. Just kind of boring records,
Or just not in a way that the Imperium could understand.
Yeah.
There is some South American tribe that actually never invented their own writing system, and their way of communicating and making records was tying knots and beads into a certain weave.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
That's fun.
There's a history lesson for you there.
Yeah, a little weave reading. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Let me just fill in the water here real quick.
Ursat says, oozed on this planet, I chose a good time to show up. Yeah.
You always have the best interests, Ursats never change. Okay. So what about their homeworld and their geography, or galactic geography, not actual geography? Well, I guess it is kind of... Anyways, that's neither here nor there. The exact location of the Galg homeworld is unknown, hidden somewhere on the outer fringes of the eastern fringe. That's a tongue twister. Possibly near Tau claimed space, naturally. Its obscurity is due not only to what's wrong with me tonight? Its obscurity is due not only to Imperium disinterest in minor xeno species, but also the Galg's own secrecy and limited galactic presence. It is believed that their world lies in a humid or aquatic region given the species' likely semi-aquatic physiology and serpentine build. The world may be composed of archipelagos, deep swamp jungles, or oceanic environments difficult for Tau or human colonies to exploit without aid. The fact that the Galg appear mainly as auxiliaries rather than occupying or expanding territory implies their homeworld remains stable, defended, or perhaps under the stewardship of the Tau. Unlike more nomadic species such as the Kroot, the Galg are not are not known to migrate across star systems independently, indicating a strong planetary route and perhaps a limited capability for space travel on their own.
Yeah, it almost seemed like a couple times they've been mentioned to have like almost limited tech, or maybe a better way to say it is they rely on the Tau for the tech. So kind of this, they can't quite make their own starships. Do they even have warp travel? Like all those kind of details that you need to actually kind of get anywhere. Seems like
They're kind of squiggly. What if they're kind of like a interstellar leech? They just hop on with whatever species will take them and arm them.
Yeah, maybe. I like it.
They're like the barnacle just holding on to the side of the ship, then the Tau or the crew have to clean every month.
Somebody has to go scrape off the Galg again. We got another host joining us now. He's a little late, but joining us now we got Bro Diddley. Hey yo. Oh, he's on.
The great and powerful.
The great and powerful Bro Diddley. How are we all doing today, my party people?
Man. We're doing good. We're just talking about the filthy tentacle Galg. So far, Gerald's confessed that he does want one to wiggle up inside him.
I think I spat out a Galg the other day. I coughed it up out of the lungs. It's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah. This crawls down into the toilet. Up next about these guys is their culture and their beliefs. Due to their rarity and the limited natural or nature of the xenoanthropological records, the culture and beliefs of the Galg remain speculative. What is apparent is their openness, or at least willingness, to integrate with the Tau Empire, which suggests either a pragmatic worldview or a cultural emphasis on cooperation. Unlike fiercely independent species like the Kroot, the Galg seem to accept command structures and military hierarchy. Whether they believe in Tau philosophy of the greater good is unknown, but their behavior indicates a degree of conformity or respect for it. Some scholars theorize that their culture may revolve around communal survival or ecological harmony, based on assumptions about their biology and behavior. Others posit that it could be a ritualistic or collectivist nature. Until a captured Galg reveals such details or one speaks to a Xenos diplomat, this area remains a blank spot in the Imperium's understanding. One more mystery lost in the void. Yeah. What we don't know anything about them. We know they joined the Tau Empire, and what does that say about them? Yeah, are they a weak species? Are they just inherently cooperative? We really don't know.
They're part of the Tau. Of course they're a weak species.
Yeah. Minorities unite! Yeah.
He does every time. He's out here slandering everything that isn't Space Marines until it is. Then he'll slander them too.
Especially when Conrad Kurz is mentioned.
I don't know. He's great. What are you talking about? I've never slandered Kurz in my life. I can't believe you would say that and just make up lies like that about me.
Oh, I would
because
say
it's
that.
true. Kurz is a pansy.
There we go.
There it is.
There it is.
Now you've pissed off a lot of autistic people. Now.
Mods ban Jax. I don't even see him in the chat yet. Just ban him.
Yes, they won't be the first time.
All right. Technology. The Galg are not known to possess significant native technological advancements. In most of their recorded appearances, they are seen wielding Tau-manufactured pulse weaponry and wearing armor designed by the Empire. This suggests that while the Galg are technologically literate, they rely heavily on their Tau allies for arms, armor, and likely spacefaring transport. This could imply their homeworld was pre-industrial or technologically stagnant before their incorporation into the Tau auxiliary program. Alternatively, they may have deliberately abandoned their own tools in favor of standardized Tau equipment for efficiency and cohesion. There is no evidence of Galg starships, AI systems, or native vehicles, reinforcing the idea that they are dependent on partners rather than peers. If they do maintain any unique tech traditions, such knowledge has yet to be revealed or perhaps is restricted to ceremonial or cultural context rather than military utility. In combat, they appear as disciplined as foot soldiers, well armed, but not self-equipped. I don't know. I get a feeling wherever these people come from, it's just sticks and stones and they don't know how to do anything with metal. Like they never had a Bronze Age.
Yeah. And it's not that they aren't necessarily not smart. Like they can communicate, they can, operate in the galaxy, make trade deals and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, maybe they lack fingers to do it, or maybe they just can't. They don't have the thumb. We all need the thumb.
True. They have 6 legs but no
Never
thumbs.
heard. I've never heard a bigger burn than they didn't even have a Bronze Age.
So, I'm out here slandering him, bro. It's
Who
my
are
job.
you?
That's why Mark has me.
So
Just, there you go. Perfect. I love it.
I do picture their technology could be cool, like if they did have it. I kind of go back to that octopus squishing through any size hole, and then like, okay, if you have this ability, maybe you kind of build technology around it. Maybe their technology is so like nanotech, or like maybe digital weapons, stuff like that, where it's just super small and compact, so they can still do what their body allows them to do without it kind of getting in the way. So it's so small you might not even realize it's there.
Maybe.
Who knows? Up next, in military. In military service to the Tau Empire, the Galg function as auxiliaries, integrated into broader Firecast formations. They do not appear to have independent command structures or operate distinct military branches, instead supporting existing Tau operations. Visual records depict Galg warriors equipped with pulse rifles and body armor, fighting in cohesive fire teams. Their long limbs and flexible bodies may grant them an advantage in urban or aquatic combat environments. They are rarely fielded in large numbers, suggesting either a limited population or a specialized tactical role. Unlike the aggressive shock assault favored by the Kroot or the Galg, unlike the aggressive shock assaults favored by the Kroot, the Galg appear more calculated and deliberate, favoring cover, positioning, and coordination. Their role is likely that of adaptable infantry, able to assist in terrains that challenge more rigid Tau tactics. Their loyalty, whether born of belief, necessity, or diplomacy, allows them to participate in operations that would otherwise be beyond their reach, supported by the Tau logistics and planning. Yeah, they really are just not much without the Tau.
Yeah, I can see that, because that kind of also that leads to their relations with the rest of the galaxy. So the Galg's primary known relationship is with the Tau Empire, within which they serve as auxiliaries. Okay. This alliance is likely based on diplomatic contact and mutual benefit rather than conquest. The Tau prize species that can integrate peacefully and follow orders effectively, and the Galg seem to meet those criteria. Outside of the Tau, the Galg are viewed with suspicion or outright hostility. The Imperium of Man considers them heretical xenos and assigns them no rights or protections. If encountered independently, they would be exterminated. As you do, because Imperium. Other xenos factions, such as the Orcs or Tyranids, would view them simply as prey or combatants. It is unknown whether the Galg have diplomatic ties with other minor species within the Tau sphere, such as the Nicassar or the Tarellians, though joint operations may have occurred. Overall, the galactic relations are narrow and pragmatic. Their galactic relations are narrow and pragmatic, defined not by cultural outreach, but by military necessity and the protective shadow of the Tau.
Yeah. Without the Tau, these guys just would probably not even make it off their planet by the sounds of it.
I had this really weird image of an orc seeing this Galg, hearing a human say squid, and then they'll say, "Oi, squig! That's a nice squig!"
That's
So
a
now they
nice
can-
squid you got there.
That's a nice big squig there.
Yeah. It's a weird squig. Never seen that type of squig. When we talk about models and rules, minis and models and whatever for these guys, I was kind of thinking probably the easiest way to get a model for them would be taking like the Tyrannid Exocrine. I think that's the one with all like the tentacles shooting out of it. But really, you could just take some Tyrannid tentacles, start slapping them onto some like a glob of green stuff. It doesn't even look like they have eyes or a mouth or like any hard features that like you couldn't do with green stuff, even like they have some spikes on their head, but maybe you just use like paper clips or toothpicks, smush them into your green stuff, you're good to go.
Or you could probably find
rules.
some like tentacled.
the octopuses from AOS, the Idneth Deepkin. Just take those and
I was just about to say, you just took the words right out of my mouth, because I was just about to say that.
Well, in your face,
Yeah, the deep
nerd. I nerded first.
Great minds think alike.
Do they have a lot of octopus models, or just that kind of one on the hero character?
Not a couple.
I think there's a couple.
Okay.
Yep. He's got one up.
Okay.
He's got one up.
Yeah, I'm holding one, and then that guy. That guy's fun.
This guy would make a pretty good one. It's even got some of those spikes on the head. Maybe you green stuff over the eyes, just to kind of smooth it out a bit. But even that, who cares? Slap on a pulse rifle, apparently. Good to go. Yeah, cool model. Rules for them. I feel like this is the scale we would see in Kill Team. I don't think we'd see them on tabletop very often. If we do, it's just like a squad. So yeah, you'd see the Tau Empire, 5,000 points of Tau Empire and 100 points of these guys. Like I don't think they're very common.
It would be an interesting elite unit that, like, let's say it's super fast, because Tau aren't that fast if I remember right. And since these are agile, make them super fast and take midfield stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Do you picture these guys kind of being like a mix of range and close combat, or like they're just shooting?
Since Tau don't have any close combat, I think these could fill that niche for them. Give them something.
Yeah, like it would be crazy to just imagine fighting like a octopus the size of you that has a gun in one hand, a battle axe in another hand, a whip in another hand, and so on and so forth. And all of them are attacking you at the same time.
It's my dreams. What are you talking about? I do that every night.
It's my dream. Yeah.
This is every day for me.
That's what I'm doing right after. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to fight a giant octopus.
Nice. I like it. You ever win?
Don't worry about it.
Cool. Well, that's the Galg, man. That's the Galg. There's not much to them. They're kind of there. They seem like they're never going to be more than what they are now. Doesn't seem like they can ever outgrow the Tau. They're there. That's them. Next race we have is the Nicassar.
Yeah. The Nicassar are a reclusive and mysterious xenos species allied with the Tau Empire, primarily known for their potent psychic abilities and spacefaring lifestyle. Among the first races to join the Tau during their expansionist phase, the Nicassar are valued for their willingness to serve, though their usefulness is limited by their physical frailty and warp sensitivity. They are rarely encountered by Imperial forces, as their range of movement is narrow and their motivations are often misunderstood. The Nicassar are most commonly seen as navigators or scouts in the service of the Tau, piloting their elegant Tau ships through the void. Their loyalty to the Tau is born more of convenience and mutual benefit than shared ideology. Though they remain a consistent, if minor, auxiliary race, their reliance on psychic power rather than technology makes them an anomaly in the Tau's otherwise rationalist and anti-psychonic military structure.
Yeah. So these guys are
Dude,
very interesting. Whenever you have
so weird.
psychic and Tau kind of coming in, yeah, they're so weird, man. They're so fucking weird.
They look like floating
They're
tiger
like
manatees.
yeah, or like a flying
manatees.
6-legged polar bear
They've
or
got
something.
6 legs? Oh, yeah, they do. Ugh.
The way
Yeah.
the way he's got his paws in that first picture is like he's trying to talk to him like an Italian. Like, come on. Come on.
That's how they-
Hey.
Don't
That's how they all
understand.
sound. They're all very Italian. Just, what are you doing? They're trying to psych us out. We're trying to stop
Yeah, look
it.
at this
Hey,
fucking thing.
Hey, I'm floating here.
Yeah, the I'm floating here, or the I'm trying to sail a ship here through the war.
Oh, they all from Jersey? Jersey Italians?
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
All right. Let's talk about their appearance, which does not mention Jersey, unfortunately. Oh, what is that? Why do you always have new words for
Sad.
me to learn in here? Ursin.
Ursin.
Relating to
Ursine. It's like
bears. Interesting. Okay.
bear.
The Nicassar are Ursin in form and often described as short, broad, and fur-covered beings that lack true limbs suited for terrestrial locomotion. They are physically weak and poorly suited for life on planetary surfaces, existing almost exclusively in the weightlessness environments of their spacecraft. With stubby limbs and round bodies, they appear lethargic and sedentary to most observers. Their biology is particularly adapted to microgravity, and they possess prehensile digits suited for manipulating tools and technology in confined shipboard spaces. Notably, their limited mobility is counterbalanced by their intense psychic activity, with the brain structures evolved to channel warp energies. Their reliance on psychic propulsion rather than mechanical engines further emphasizes the peculiar synergy between their biology and lifestyle. Their metabolism is slow, and they spend long periods in torpor or meditation, conserving energy aboard their elegant vessels. These characteristics contribute to their otherworldly contemplative aura when encountering other species. So yeah, I was right. These are bear manatee things.
Yeah, they seem wise and like almost like they hold the mysteries to the universe, but they don't. But they seem like they would.
I also like that they're just lethargic. They're just like, I'm so tired. I'm gonna go fly
Stop
my
floating
ship
around all day.
That more cartoony picture that you put up also made me think of like a cracked out Appa from The Last Airbender.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's a lot of like alpha male daily routine videos going around where they wake up at 3 a.m. and dunk their face in ice water. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. I'm picturing these having like the opposite, like it's 10 a.m. and I float out of the room and I drink some water, but it's too cold, so I walk away from it. And it's 11 a.m.
Yeah, and I go have a
Yeah,
nap
it's
on the
11
couch.
a.m. I'm gonna go nap on the couch. It's just them taking naps throughout the day.
Love it.
Sure. Their powers and abilities. The Nicassar are powerful latent psykers, with most of their race exhibiting some degree of psychic ability from birth. Their gifts are largely focused on telekinesis and limited precognition, allowing them to manipulate objects. Maybe somebody else read. My dogs are just barking on my deck here. They're gone, maybe. I don't know if you guys can hear them. How's that sound?
Barely heard
Dogs
them.
barking.
Didn't even notice.
Okay. No, I'll keep going.
Yeah, I
Unlike
didn't really
many
notice.
And like many psychic races, the Nicassar rarely display aggression through their powers. Instead, they favor subtle manipulation, shielding, or movement-based applications. Their Daos are moved entirely through their telekinetic will, Their Dows are their voidcraft. We'll get to them later. Making them among the few spacefaring species who do not rely on conventional propulsion. However, their psychic talents also make them vulnerable to the warp and susceptible to demonic influences, which restricts their interactions with many species. The Nicassar rarely engage in direct combat as their abilities are not oriented toward warfare, but in supportive and exploratory roles. They are immensely capable. Their psychic powers remain their defining and most valued trait. Yeah, so they got telekinesis, which they use to move their spacecraft among their own bodies, and a little bit of precog, so they can see the future a little bit.
Pretty basic stuff there.
Yeah. Yep. We don't have any polar bears that can do that, but pretty cool.
I think it's a good thing that our polar bears don't do that, because if they're as aggressive as our polar bears, we'd be in trouble.
I'll let you read that, then I'll say something about polar bears.
Banished Cabal says the Nicassar almost remind me of gas bags from Ark Survival. Any of you guys
My
play
brother
that game?
does.
Let's Google a picture. Gas bags Ark Survival.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that will take me exactly what I need. Okay, sure.
Okay.
Did you,
That's
so
the real
cute.
cracked out Appa.
is this another thing GW stole?
That one's done too.
I'm just kidding.
Fucking meth. Look at that. Cute. Neat. All right, the more you
True.
know.
You just want to take it home. But you were going to say something about
so,
polar bears?
I don't know if you guys know, but polar bear guard is an actual job, and it's a dude that wears a bright red uniform and has an AR-10, which is a 308 rifle, to deal with polar bears that are trying to break into compounds on the Arctic. We're going to need bigger guns if we're dealing with floating psychic polar bears.
Yeah, with telekinesis that just like stop your bullets with your mind.
We're going to need actual space marines to deal with this new threat.
Oh, God.
I heard this running joke from this other podcast that I listened to, and they're talking about like when bears attack, and then they said, and then here's the guide. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
If it's yellow, it's an unhappy fellow. That's the other one because
You peed on a polar. If it's yellow, you peed on a polar bear. You're super dead.
Yeah.
Super.
Double good night. Oh man, but cracked out Appa and polar bear jokes aside, what is their history like? The recorded history of the Nicassar is sparse, largely due to their isolationist tendencies and the lack of interest in galactic politics. Prior to their alliance with the Tau, the Nicassar existed as a drifting, spacefaring civilization with no known homeworld or significant territorial claims. Their first contact with the Tau came early in the second phase expansion, where mutual interest led to an accord. The Nicassar offered their scouting fleets and exploration vehicles in exchange for protection and material support, particularly due to their vulnerability to warp entities and physical frailty. The Tau, typically averse to psykers, made a notable exception for the Nicassar, likely due to their disciplined, non-aggressive application of psychic power. Since then, the Nicassar have remained on the fringe of Tau society, serving as long-range scouts and navigators, but rarely participating in diplomacy or war. Their history is defined by more by movement and meditation than conquest.
Yeah, what a lifestyle. I like how much meditation plays a factor in just their kind of life. When your whole race is psychic and constantly being assaulted by demons, yeah, you all gotta kind of be chill. You gotta have some techniques to deal with that. Float around the galaxy and just meditate, I guess.
Be like one with the universe, my dude.
Yeah, man.
The
Just
power
go
within.
through that. Yeah.
Hippie bears.
Grimlore said, "I've heard bear steaks are good if cooked right." I can attest that bear steaks are good on the bear. They're not very good in your mouth. I will say that. I've had
I've
bear.
heard bears are full of worms.
The bear also gave me trichinosis, so like that's never a good time.
Yeah, I heard
Ooh.
bears were just full of worms
Ooh.
and they're really gross to eat.
Yes and no to that. Like there's things where you can, like, if you take like a bear ham and smoke it and like do like an actual like pork ham, but like with a bear rear end, basically, it's pretty good. But like
Okay.
in general, not great. It's too tough.
So
It's too nasty.
So my other Canadian friend lied to me then.
Yeah.
Like,
Canadians are silly people. You
I
can
was
never
gonna say
trust
those
the Canadians.
Canadians, man.
I'll tell you
don't
that.
They
trust
run
us.
away to Panama to do a
Never.
Don't
podcast.
trust us.
Yeah, man. Never trust a Canadian. Never.
But, well, let's talk about their homeworld and galactic geography, and we'll see if they line up with the bears of Canada. The Nicassar have no known homeworld. Instead, they live aboard independent vessels called dhows, drifting through space in small familial or clan-based flotillas. These self-sufficient ships serve as both habitat and vehicle, allowing them to remain in constant motion. The species has long since abandoned any planetary ties, having evolved psychologically and culturally to suit the microgravity of deep space. As such, the Nicassar are more accurately described as a migratory or nomadic spacefaring people, rather than citizens of a particular system. Most Nicassar are found in the fringes of the Tau Empire, exploring uncharted systems or serving as scouts during periods of expansion. Their absence from planet-bound infrastructure means they are often overlooked by more grounded empires like the Imperium, and the presence across the galaxy is sporadic and elusive. Their unique geography, ships instead of planets, makes them difficult to track or fully understand by more centralized civilizations.
Yeah, I wonder if something happened to their homeworld to kind of like it seems like the whole race abandoned the homeworld. Like it doesn't even seem like it's operational anymore. So if it was destroyed or just straight up abandoned, or who knows?
Maybe they transcended
It's a
their
tough one.
homeworld.
And that might be it, man. Like, yeah, they're like, hey, yeah, we've mastered psychic powers now. This world is not enough for us. Let's traverse the stars. Like that's kind of cool, kind of metaphorical almost.
Maybe they're.
I have
Go
a
ahead.
feeling.
No, I was
Sorry,
just gonna
go
make a
ahead.
joke. You go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I have a feeling because of like how they are, like each of them inhabits their own small ship. Basically, they they basically remind me of like uh, almost like gnats. You see them for a split second, and then they're gone because they're in like such a small thing. But they're always together, right? Gnats are always got like a little group of gnats together, and then you like turn your head and they're like, I don't know where they went to. Like that's just, I think that's how the Imperium and other civilizations kind of see them. Like they're there and then they're all gone.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of like they're an odd species for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But continuing with their oddness, let's talk about their culture and beliefs. The Nicassar culture is inward-looking, meditative, and highly individualistic, emphasizing mental discipline and the balance of psychic energy. They do not possess an organized religion as understood by the Imperium, but they appear to revere the power of the mind and the harmony of the warp in a philosophical manner. Each Nicassar clan of family group operates independently, following shared traditions of telepathic meditation, self-contemplation, and spiritual navigation. Time aboard their dhows is spent in reflection or subtle communication with the psychic current of the galaxy. Due to the slow-moving nature and long lifespans, the Nicassar rarely involve themselves with fast-paced or violent affairs. They value personal growth, collective memory of their ship, or the collective memory of their ships, and the quiet pursuit of deeper knowledge. Their beliefs are often difficult for other species to parse, as they rarely verbalize them and appear disinterested in evangelism or conversion. Oh, look at the little guy.
Yeah, these that I have pulled up on the screen now are called tardigrades. Plain Jane said they reminded them. And yeah, these look like just almost the hairless version of Nicassar. They're quite bizarre.
Yeah. They're also known as water bears.
Water bears, yeah. Fucking strange.
Again,
My wife, being a biologist, she loves these things. She's got a photo of one like in her room, where
Okay.
like her offices.
Yeah, they're weird. I don't like it. Look at it. It looks like this one has fingernails on it. It's fucked.
And they grow up to
Yeah,
10
get it off
feet
my
long.
screen.
No, I'm kidding.
And they live in your butt. No.
Ugh.
The technology. While not technologically primitive, the Nicassar rely far more heavily on psychic phenomena than advanced machinery. Their ships, known as dhows, are relatively simple in structure, but are propelled entirely through telekinetic will. As such, they lack warp drives, thrusters, or plasma-based propulsion, instead gliding silently across the void. Internally, their vessels are designed for low-gravity living and extended isolation. With modest life support systems and limited automation, the Nicassar have little need for heavy weaponry or defensive equipment, and what few technological devices they use are often meant to amplify or support their psychic abilities. They have been granted some access to Tau technology through their alliance, though it is rarely incorporated into their traditional vessels. Their approach to technology is spiritual and minimalist, viewing it more as a means to maintain quiet existence rather than dominate the galaxy. Their blend of telepathy and machinery results in ships both elegant and alien. Yeah, cool. I'll see if I can find a picture of their ship. That's this one right here. It looks like it has a front and a back to it, but realistically, man, you're controlling that thing any which way. You want it to go up just as fast as you want it to go down. Like, it's all controlled by the mind. So it's pretty crazy that these things could really just be zipping around, like almost like your conventional UFOs, where they're just kind of all
That's
over.
what I was
you
going
know?
to say. They look like a normal UFO.
Yeah. Cool.
so wait, all of our UFO stories have actually
100%.
been Nicassar?
Yeah, the breakaway civilization was actually the polar bears that turned into the Nicassar.
Oh god! Oh no!
Plot twist.
Plot twist.
Oh my god. But so we've been mentioning these things before. So what exactly is a Dhow voidcraft? The Nicassar Dhow is a small, elegant voidcraft used exclusively by the Nicassar species for travel, habitation, and exploration. Unlike most ships in the galaxy, the Dhow is not powered by engines or warp drives, but by the psychic will of its pilot. Each Dhow is propelled through space using telekinetic force, allowing it to drift silently and gracefully across the stars. I don't know, man. This UFO theory is starting to make a lot more credence. These vessels are relatively small, usually only accommodating a single Nicassar or a small family unit, and are designed for life in microgravity. Internally, they are sparse and meditative, suited to the Nicassar's contemplative nature, lacking traditional weaponry or shields. Dhows are not combat vessels, but they are capable of linking together into larger flotillas or attaching to Tau starships during military campaigns. They are barnacles, though physically fragile. The Dhow's psychic propulsion makes it unique in the galaxy, a fusion of living will and starlight, drifting peacefully through the void on missions of exploration.
Yeah, cool. Brody, did you say that there was like only one Nicassar in the ship at a time? Did you kind of say that, or was that just a
I believe
thought?
so. Yeah. No,
Oh,
it's what it said because it was. I'm gonna try and find it here.
One, either a single pilot or a small family unit is what the note said.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah.
Usually only accommodating a single Nicassar or a small family unit. There we go.
Yeah, just going into that meditative, isolationist kind of mentality. Interesting.
Yeah.
What
I wouldn't want to
weird
talk to
ships,
anybody
man.
either if I knew what everybody was thinking. Like, I just be like,
Yeah,
nah, get away from me.
and you're like this weird flying 8-limbed polar bear. They're always talking shit about you, and you're like, fuck,
Always talking shit.
always talking shit.
That's why they don't need defenses or anything like that, is because they just talk mad shit. So everybody just feels bad when they look at them. They're like, oh man,
Aw.
they just the best burn I've ever heard in my life. I'm just gonna go away now.
The Nicassars read about vicious mockery and decided to actually cast it.
Yeah, vicious mockery in true form. Oh man. All right. Speaking of
Lupercal
their
says,
defenses. Oh yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Lupercal. Yeah, you
Lupercal
say it.
says, it's physically propelled. I doubt it needs defenses or weapons because the thing is probably able to zigzag away from anything attacking it. And I would imagine even the shields, they have some form of like psychic shielding, although that's not stated. I could see it happening.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, let's talk about their defenses here. Their military. Nicassar play a non-combatant or auxiliary role in Tau military operations, primarily serving as scouts, navigators, and early surveyors of systems ahead of larger expansion forces. Their DAOs are not warships in any traditional sense. They lack heavy weapons, armor, or military command structures. However, their ability to move independently and quietly makes them ideal for reconnaissance, long-range patrols, relaying information through psychic communication. Rarely, the Nicassar may use their telekinesis defensively, creating barriers or manipulating objects as weapons, but this is far from standard military practice. The Tau recognize their limitation and assign them roles suited to exploration or passive support. They are notably absent from frontline combat, not only because of their physical fragility, but also due to the Tau's careful management of psychic exposure. As auxiliaries, the Nicassar represent a unique contribution to the Tau war machine, non-violent, cerebral, and spatially aware, rather than destructive. Also, everybody keeps talking about their physical frailty. These things are huge. These big 8-armed, like 6-armed floating bears. I don't think they're that frail. I just don't.
That
I
is
don't
funny.
see them being frail.
Yeah, like they're easily over 10 feet tall, these things. Like,
Maybe
yeah.
they could just
Think
be
of it
big
like-
and fluffy, but they have no muscle, so that makes them frail.
They got the
I was gonna
chinchilla
say-
build, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think of it like a giant squid is terrifying. A blue whale is gigantic, but as soon as you put them in gravity, they're just, blobs.
Yes.
So
I don't know, man. I'm just like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't seem frail.
Seems like a giant 8-foot or 8-armed bear. That's what it fucking
It
seems like.
seems practical.
That's funny. All right, let's talk about their galactic relations. The Nicassar maintain few relationships outside of their alliance with the Tau Empire. Due to their heavy reliance on psychic powers, they are treated with suspicion or outright hostility by most other factions, especially the Imperium of Man, which is true and not wrong at all. Which view unsanctioned psykers as a dire threat. Their lack of aggression and physical presence means they are rarely the focus of xenos purges, but they are not spared from condemnation. The Eldar may regard them with distant interest, while races like the Orcs or Tyranids ignore them unless provoked. The Nicassar themselves show little interest in diplomacy beyond what is necessary to sustain their nomadic existence. Their connection to the Tau is one of mutual benefit, safe harbor and technological resources in exchange for scouting expertise. Their reserved nature, lack of expansionist behavior, and refusal to engage in violence mean they are rarely embroiled in galactic conflict, existing quietly at the edge of more aggressive empires. I don't know. I feel that's kind of like they're not actually involved in the conflict, but they're doing the recon and telling them where to go and what to do and what to hit. That doesn't really feel peaceful to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
What are
a
you
fun
talking
line.
about? I didn't do anything. Yeah, but you told them where everything was. But
Yeah,
I didn't do anything.
it's like I didn't do it. Like I didn't do it. Yeah, I told him
got
where
a
they
big
were and
mouth.
where those tactical points were, but I didn't do it.
Exactly. God.
Well, that's
Billy
enough
got
to make
pushed
me
off
want to
this.
exterminate them. Just that alone, you know. They're liars.
Billy got pushed off the swing today. Okay, did you do anything about it? No, I was sitting over there on the bench. Okay, well, did you do anything to stop Billy getting pushed off the swing today? No, because I was sitting on the bench. Okay, in Nazi Germany here,
Let's try another example.
I was sitting on the bench.
And I told the guy to go push Billy, but that's not the point.
Oh, these
Told him
little
Billy would be
cards.
there at recess. God.
Yeah, they're kind of just they kind of they're giving out secrets of stuff, tactical points and whatever, but honestly, I don't know how much really they're doing in the galaxy. I bet more of their exploration and all that kind of stuff is more guided towards like resource acquisition, like okay, let's go this direction, let's see if we can find like some planets that aren't inhabited, let's find some new resources, or yeah, it just seems like they aren't necessarily doing the combat. Well, I know they're not doing the combat, but even like the combat scouting seems like that's more rare too. Like the Tau can find a lot of use for a race like this outside of combat. You know, there's tons of things that the Tau are up to. Maybe even just like, okay, there's a race over there that we have not been able to communicate with yet. Like it's your turn to go try since you're psychic. Like give it a whirl. Minis and
not a bad idea. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Minis and representation. No rules, no minis. If we did see them, though, we would pretty much only ever see them in Battlefleet Gothic. And I guess we do have minis for their Battlefleet Gothic Dow void ships. So that's where you would pretty much see them.
Is that game still out, or did they cancel it?
Yeah, it's canceled, and I heard that the rules are very bad. Like, it's hard to get back into. They're pretty outdated. The rules.
There is a rumor.
Dang,
that
but
it's
having
coming back.
Ooh, I wouldn't be surprised, man. Like, yeah, why not? It'd be sweet. I'd buy some for sure.
Me, I would not mind collecting like a model of like a strike cruiser or something, or a battle barge. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
True scale. Yeah. All right. Up next, we have the Tarellian, or the Tarellian dog soldiers, even though they look like lizards. The overview. Tarellians are a reptilian xenos species known primarily for their intense grudge against the Imperium of Man. Once possessing a thriving interstellar civilization, they were nearly wiped out by the Imperium during the Great Crusade. Since that cataclysm, surviving Tarellians have scattered across the galaxy in mercenary warbands, seeking vengeance and survival in equal measure. Despite their scattered state, Tarellians are known to maintain strong cultural rooted in their lost civilization. While largely considered a minor threat by Imperial standards, their hatred of humanity had made them a persistent nuisance across certain sectors. The Tarellians' reputation as skilled warriors and disciplined mercenaries has occasionally led their employment by other Xenos factions, most notably the Tau Empire, who view them as useful auxiliaries. Although the Imperium considers them largely exterminated, reports of Tarellian sightings suggest their extinction may have been greatly exaggerated. Yeah, so the Tarellian dog soldiers. I kept going back and forth if I should include these guys or not in this episode. And my thought was they almost fall into that same category as Kroot, where like they are mercenaries. Like they're not tied to the Tau. They don't have exclusive contracts necessarily. But at the same time, their whole empire was destroyed, so it's not like they got much else going on anyways. So I didn't know what to quite do. So
that bit or that little blurb that they have an intense hatred for humanity for what happened during the Great Crusade kind of makes me think back to, I think it was the Anulian episode, that also have an intense hatred for humanity because of what they did during the Great Crusade. But then that made me kind of think though, reading like some of the older lore about like why the humans are so xenophobic, it never specified what aliens hurt them to make the Emperor want to go, okay, aliens, all aliens, it's on site.
Everyone, yeah.
It's just like, who hurt you, God Emperor? So
Yeah. Yeah, I just think you go into the galaxy and you come across orcs and you're like, well, I've seen enough. I think murder is just going to be the standard route for all Xenos. Like, whatever.
yeah, I'll give them a good crumpin'. But so what do the Tarellians look like? Well, they're reptilian and they're called dogmen. Okay, let's move on to powers and abilities, Brody.
Perfect.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Tarellians are humanoid reptiles, often likened to bipedal lizards or saurian beasts. So this is like the third or fourth lizardmen in space or in 40k.
There's a
species
lot of them,
that we've
for
just
sure.
There's a lot of lizardmen in 40k. So Warhammer Fantasy fans rejoice.
Yeah.
Their physical form is muscular and well suited for combat. Again, Seraphon or lizardmen with tough scaly hides, providing natural armor against environmental hazards and attacks. They possess elongated snouts, sharp teeth, and clawed digits, all suggestive of a predatory ancestry. Their skin typically ranges in color from olive green to dark brown, helping them blend into many environments, though the exact internal biology of the Tarellians remains poorly understood by human scholars. They are clearly adapted for both physical endurance and agility. Unlike many xenos species, they can survive in harsh climates and are reportedly able to recover quickly from wounds that would cripple a human. Their reptilian physiology may also contribute to their long lifespans and resilience. Some Imperial observers note a cold, calculating quality to their gaze, indicative of both their alien mindset and their capacity for strategic patience.
Cool. Yeah, of all of the lizard species that we've come across, I think this one fits best for that AOS Seraphon type conversion. I'm just going through all these pictures, and man, they're spicy. They're nice.
I did see one guy on another Discord actually combine kit bash like Seraphon and Leagues of Votan bits to do Lizardmen in space or in 40k.
So cool.
That actually sounds sick. I have to find that. But I like just hearing about them. I kind of thought they were closer to the Lux Saddle, which is like the flechette blaster wearing like
These
that guy.
guys.
Yeah, I thought they were closer to that, and then it was a bipedal. I was like, okay, not quite the same, but like yes and no.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're super sweet. Look, like they sound super sweet.
It would be cool because you kind of said they're like a mercenary faction. If you could take them with any army you wanted.
Yeah. Maybe that's what needs to happen. People have talked about like how doing like a alien ally codex or something like that. And how do you get all these different little minor Xenos in there? But yeah, maybe it should just be like a mercenary codex that can just kind of go
like
anywhere.
The Imperial Agent Codex just lets you tag whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly like that. And then, you know, obviously there'd be like, yeah, you can't have these guys and these guys in the same army. But like, yeah, I think that would be so sweet, though. We need some just more random one-off alien units.
I think you're right. I think it would be like an Imperial Agents, but it would just be minor Xenos, and they could go with any Xenos army except for Tyranids.
Yeah, but even Tyranids, man, you could say little brain parasite bug has, you know, chomped into the back of their head and they're controlling some of them. Yeah, you could find a way. And same with Necron, they have their mind control scarab swarms or whatever. So even them, they could, you know, always.
You could take Gene Stealers with Gene Stealer Cult, can't you?
You can take. Yeah, I think
so.
Then
what?
Well, no, I'm saying that because
you could take
that's a Tyranid unit, so you could take because it's a human Tyranid hybrid faction, so you probably could take this with other Tyranid things. Is the point that I was going with?
I
see what you mean now. Okay.
Yeah, that would be the
Yeah,
other
it's
option.
like-
Yeah, you go the Gene Stealer route. So now we got Gene Stealer Tarellian dog soldier. So now they got 3, sometimes 4 arms. We got the Omniposer tongue going. Heck yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh man! Speaking of what their abilities are and how they'll be acting, let's go through their powers and ability. The Tarellians are not known to possess psychic abilities or warp manipulation powers. Instead, their strengths lie in physical prowess, tactical discipline, and an inherent adaptability to different combat situations. As a species, they exhibit impressive coordination, resilience, and endurance, making them formidable soldiers even when outnumbered. Their survivalist instincts are strong, having honed these traits over centuries of displacement and warfare. While not inherently superhuman, Tarellians excel in small unit tactics and guerrilla warfare, particularly in environments that favor ambushes or hit and run tactics. They can fight with both advanced firearms and primitive weaponry, demonstrating flexibility in technology use. Furthermore, their disciplined nature allows them to function cohesively in combat, even under stress or heavy fire. Despite lacking the overt power of psykers or the technological supremacy of races like the Necrons, the Tarellians' tenacity and experience in asymmetrical warfare make them dangerous foes in prolonged engagements. I just imagine Tarellian dog soldiers running through the forests of like the jungle of Vietnam. Like,
Nice.
Kind of like the raptors from Jurassic Park, just foo, foo, foo.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
with guns.
Raptors with guns. All of a sudden, these guys are a lot more scary. Holy fuck. Okay.
Right?
That's why they call them.
Yeah.
I grabbed some.
I was gonna say that's why they call them dogs, because they bark like the raptors did in Jurassic Park. So they thought they were dogs at first.
Okay. It's all coming together.
I took some of those pictures of that guy who kit bashed the Seraphon and Voton models, and I posted to the Imperial Tithe channel. So they weren't meant to be Tarellian, but this is kind of making me think of it. So
Yeah, those are spicy. Very cool.
Hot.
Got like Triceratops bot in the back and like some other type of like Bronchiosaurus bot. Fucking cool. Wow, incredible. Yeah, definitely go join our Discord and come check out these pics in the Imperial Tithe channel. Those are great.
Those are sick. I love those.
Yeah. So let's talk about their history. The Tarellians once commanded a powerful interstellar civilization, but their rise was crushed during the Great Crusade in the 31st millennium, as it should have been. The Imperium, under the command of the Emperor and his Primarchs, viewed the Tarellians as an unacceptable threat to human dominance and launched a devastating campaign of extermination. Entire Tarellian worlds were destroyed by virus bombing and orbital bombardment, nearly wiping out the species. The survivors scattered across the galaxy, forming war bands and small enclaves. Ever since, the Tarellians have nursed a burning hatred for the Imperium. Though most of their kind were destroyed, they remain a symbol of resistance and endurance, refusing to let their species fade quietly into extinction. In more recent centuries, some Tarellians have allied with the Tau Empire, seeking purpose and vengeance by joining their military as auxiliaries. Despite the fractured state, the memory of their lost empire continues to drive them forward. Man, how salty do you have to be to hold a grudge for 10,000 years? Like, you lost. Get over it. Take the L. Yeah,
Get
take the L,
over
bro.
Yeah.
Take
So
the
just
L,
go-
bro.
okay, take that mentality and just go to Abaddon. There you go, problem
True.
solved.
He needs to take the L, too. He's a little salty crybaby. I don't know why people like him.
Yeah, the long war isn't as cool when it's so long because you can't win. Doesn't sound as cool.
Yeah, it's only long because you won't give up, loser.
Yeah. Poor Xenos. Yeah, the more I'm reading about them, the more I feel like they don't necessarily fit into this Tau Empire episode. But we'll carry on with them. not all of them went and joined the Tau Empire. They still have their own enclaves across the galaxy doing their own things. So, their homeworld and galactic geography. The original Tarellian homeworld has never been named in surviving Imperial records, and it is presumed to have been one of the many planets annihilated during the Great Crusade. Once the center of a thriving star-spanning society, it was destroyed alongside many of the Tarellians' other colony worlds. Today, the Tarellians are a diaspora species, with no single world to call their own. Instead, they inhabit the fringes of known space, especially regions neglected by the Imperium or dominated by other xenos powers. They are most often found in independent warbands or as mercenaries in Tau-controlled space. Due to their scattered existence, Tarellian groups have adapted to different planetary environments, giving rise to slight regional variations in their biology and tactics. Despite their nomadic status, they seem to maintain a cultural longing for a lost homeland, an idea that binds their far-flung people together through shared myth and memory. I like this line about they've adapted to different planetary environments. So, 40K, I mentioned this when we did the Virus, where 40K always gives you a reason to paint the creatures whatever colors you want, and this is just another nice little example of, they come in different colors. Maybe some are spotted, maybe some aren't. Maybe some are bigger, maybe some are skink size and not like the Seraphim size, but they're a little smaller,
Well, now I'm just getting this image of the dwarves of Erebor with that whole diaspora and seeking a lost homeland that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So good job, Mark. Good job.
Yeah, okay. Longing for that lost homeland that they've probably never even been to. Cool.
But speaking of long lost homelands, what are their cultures and beliefs? Tarellian culture is marked by a deep reverence for honor, vengeance, and the memory of their lost civilization. Their code of conduct appears to emphasize martial discipline, loyalty to kin, and the fulfillment of oaths, especially those related to vengeance against their enemies. This is striking me like discount elites from Halo, or Sankheili for those who were
The true
in the know.
fans.
Exactly. Oral traditions. Though much of their ancient culture was lost during the Imperial Purge, remnants persist in the form of war chants, tattoos, and tribal markings. Oral tradition plays a major role in their cultural continuity, with elders recounting tales of the Tarellian Empire and the crimes of humanity. Ooh. This enduring hatred for the Imperium defines much of their worldview. Despite their fragmented state, Tarellians continue to regard themselves as a proud and noble race, resisting assimilation even when employed as auxiliaries. While not overtly religious in a psychic or warp sense, they are deeply spiritual about their ancestral legacy and maintain ceremonial rites tied to battle and remembrance. It's almost like they're just huffing copium with oh no, we're not actually part of the greater good, and yet they're hired by the Tau. Like, come on.
Consistently and regularly, yeah.
It's like, we're a proud empire. We're big. We're out here.
Oh yeah, where's your homeworld, Tarellian?
Losers. Get virus bombed, loser.
Get virus bombed. I can just picture the Tarellians sitting around in a circle, and whenever there's like awkward silences or pauses in the conversation, somebody always is just like, so how about that shitty Imperium? And then they're all chatting again. They all get back on it. Oh yeah, fuck them. Like, that's how they bond. It's all just that that group hatred really brings a group together.
They should join Chaos if they're so salty about it.
Up next, we have their technology and what type of gibbies and goblets do they use?
I'm thinking some pretty cool stuff, but I've been wrong before. Tarellian technology once rivaled that of mid-tier Xenos civilizations, but most of their advanced capabilities were lost during the Great Crusade's purge. What remains is a patchwork of salvaged equipment, refurbished weapons, and battlefield scavenged tools. However, their technical ingenuity allows them to maintain a respectable level of functionality, despite limited resources. Tarellian weaponry includes both conventional firearms and energy-based systems. Though they also show proficiency with melee weapons, especially in ambush tactics. Their vehicles and starships are functional but rarely elegant, often built for durability and practical warfare. When serving the Tau, some Tarellians gain access to superior gear, which they incorporate seamlessly into their own war doctrine. Despite their degraded technological state, Tarellians are adept at modifying what they possess to suit new environments and missions. A testament to their adaptability, they may no longer wield the power of their old empire, but they remain far from primitive.
Yeah, sounds
It
like
just
they
like
got what they deserved.
well,
Mid-tier? Ha!
mid-tier.
Mid-tier,
Fuck
more
them.
like
Mid.
losers.
More like
Yeah.
losers.
They went
They
from
look like
mid
they
tier to
dropped
just
common loot.
mid.
But I actually like that whole like they are able to just make it work. We got this, but we're in zero gravity now, so we're gonna put this wrench into here, and we're gonna do this, and then now it's a zero gravity gun.
All
Whoop-de-doo.
I
Yeah.
love that skill, man. That's like such a cool kind of skill. I've worked with some electricians or mechanics or whatever who have that kind of skill where, yeah, like you said, they take this weird tool, put it somewhere it shouldn't be, and like, that's going to hold for another 3 days. So we got some time. Like, cool. Like, okay.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
I've literally drove a vehicle between like provinces like that. They're like, this will last you maybe 1,000 kilometers, and I'm like, okay,
I'll take it.
I got 900 kilometers to go.
Did you make it?
Well, I did. I made it. I made
Good
it.
man. There is a
Hardcore.
specific term for this type of rigging of a system, but I feel like if I said it, I'd get in a shitload of trouble. So I'll let your imaginations wander with what type of person would rig something like this. Tell us about the military. What kind of army do they have, these lizards?
A weak one because it got crushed under the might of the Imperium. But
yeah, even 10,000 years later, they
I
can't
know,
recover.
losers. We don't even have Primarch. Well, we've got 2 Primarchs now, and they still can't beat us. Cringe. But the Tarellian military tradition is built on small unit tactics, discipline, and ruthless efficiency born of centuries of survival. Apparently not, because they didn't survive virus bombs. With no centralized empire remaining, Tarellian forces are typically organized into war bands or mercenary companies led by veteran warriors. Their military units favor mobility, coordinating assaults, and ambush strategies, particularly effective in urban or rugged environments. Tarellians are known to wield a mix of ballistic and energy-based weapons, supplemented by shock troops who fight in close combat with savage precision. Their command structures emphasize battlefield experience and honor over rank and lineage. When allied with the Tau Empire, Tarellians often serve as fast attack elements or heavy infantry, performing specialized roles the Tau cannot easily fulfill. Despite lacking the industrial power to field massive armies, Tarellian troops are feared for their tenacity, ferocity, and unwavering commitment to their mission, especially when it involves vengeance against the Imperial targets. So we're not there yet, but on the tabletop, these would be awesome for Tau to have melee units. And if you want to get super crazy, give them like reroll hits against Imperium to give them a flavorful rule.
Oh, yeah. Hatred Imperium.
Yeah, they need to bring
sure.
hatred stuff back. I miss that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, Dark Heresy and Warhammer Fantasy RPG have like the animosity system, so this would be a very good excuse to use that.
True.
Yeah. I like the way they operate, these guys. You know, they're ambushers. I can picture them just hunkering down in like a jungle, waiting, and then doing the perfect raptor ambush. But I also see them doing like urban combat, where just their naturally tough hides and stuff adds that much extra protection in like these close combat fighting and all that kind of shenanigans. Power swords are like phase swords, very much like the elites. See that happening?
That is what I was thinking. I was like, what do they remind me of? They remind me of like an already pre-existing like Alien. And I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, the elites.
you missed it when Gerald called the Tau the Covenant knockoff, or what'd you call it there, Gerald?
Discount
Oh.
Covenant.
Discount Covenant. Yes.
Here's something. Here's
Are
something that's
they
gonna
the-
bake your noodle, though. Anybody that knows a Major Kill, he's another Warhammer floor tuber. He runs his own mini line of 3D printed resin, and his line just came out with the Tau Haley, which is elites that are sided with the Tau. It's worth
Cool.
looking at.
That's funny.
So
Okay.
Love it.
Nice.
It's the Tau you get. That's the Covenant you get from Wish.
So
we have Covenant at
God.
home. Covenant at home.
That's funny.
Galactic relations. And we got another quote here, and this is by the same Inquisitor, so I'll get you, Gerald, to read this line, since you've already done his voice so masterfully.
I will spare everyone the precious voice this time.
Yeah.
The Tarellians say we have to leave. They don't like us drinking here. Inquisitor Oriel to the infiltrated members of the Last Chancers.
Yeah. They don't like humans, and they're not afraid to say it. But at the same time, they all found themselves in some type of like cantina, space cantina together. So that's fun. I'd like to go to that space cantina. See some Tarellian, an Inquisitor there, all types of manner of fun stuff. Tarellians are largely viewed with suspicion and hostility by the Imperium, which considers them a hostile xenos race best eradicated. Having nearly been wiped out by the Imperium during the Great Crusade, Tarellians I can say it, but not right now. Fucking hell. They return this Amanat. Oh yes, back-to-back bad words. They return this hatred with deep-seated hatred. Yeah, that's perfect sentence construction. Their most significant modern alliance is with the Tau Empire, where some have found a new purpose as auxiliary within the Tau military. While not part of the Tau's core caste, they are valued for their combat skills and loyalty in battle. Relations with other xeno species are less documented, though their scattered nature likely forces them into pragmatic alliances or mercenary work with non-imperial powers. They remain distrusted even among other xenos due to their grudge-bearing nature and harsh war code. Despite this, Tarellians have managed to survive by adapting their galactic politics, taking what opportunities arise to strike at their ancient enemies and keep their species from fading into oblivion. I like this kind of concept of the war code. It's kind of been mentioned a couple times, but yeah, at this point, this race is a warring race. Like that is their primary export, we'll say.
What do? I produce violence. Why? Because the Imperium killed us 10,000
I'm good
years
at
ago.
it. Excellent.
Yeah. No, I think these are sweet. These are sweet, cool, and interesting xenos.
Yeah, for sure. Models and minis here for them and rules and stuff. Yeah, we mentioned the AOS Seraphim line mixed with some Votan. That looked really cool. But you could also mix it with Tau stuff if you were doing that route. But hey, man, you could also mix it with Eldar stuff. Maybe some Eldar hired these guys as mercenaries and now gave them some gear. Definitely Dark Eldar would do that kind of thing. So, you could have these guys kind of, you got your base model and then you slap on different war gear depending on what you're kind of up to, who you're working for.
Would the Dark Eldar hire them before or after horrifically mangling them?
Oh, yeah. Before and after, both probably.
They could try mangling them.
At
I don't
the
think
same
it would go
time.
well.
Yeah.
Oh. I did post a picture of the Tau Haley from the Major Minis on the Imperial Tithe channel. So,
oh, yeah, those are cool too. Yeah, great.
And my apologies to Ursats and Lupercal. I did not see y'all's requests until after I'd already read the quotes. So, another time.
Another time. Rules for these guys. The scale that you'd probably see them in is Kill Team and regular 40k scale. I don't think you'd see them in Epic. You wouldn't see them in Gothic. Maybe RPGs, you would come across them quite often working with mercenaries. They could be a fun little mercenary character to play as. Yeah.
I think they'd be sweet as like a kill team. Yeah.
Yeah, I think kill team fits them the best, And then like that kill team, it fits into the larger 40k army, just like how the Galg did, where it's like, well, you have X amount of Tau points and slightly less,
Yeah.
Tarellian. But yeah, very cool. I like these guys a lot. They look sweet. They have such cool potential with conversions and all that. And yeah, they're nice. Who doesn't like a nice lizard?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Agreed.
But I think we're going to go from lizards to more bugs. So, and by bugs, I mean discount drones or buggers from Halo. We're talking about the Vespids. The Vespid are an insectoid aliens, insectoid xenos species native to the Tau Empire, serving primarily as auxiliaries within the Tau military. Known for their speed, agility, and loyalty, Vespid fill a unique role in the Tau's expansionist vision of the greater good. Their integration into the Empire is largely due to the Tau's use of specialized communication devices called communion helms, which allow ethereals to communicate with and guide Vespid leaders. Despite vast cultural and biological differences, the Vespid have proven to be effective and cooperative allies, offering the Tau Empire enhanced battlefield capabilities, particularly in difficult or vertical terrain. Their loyalty is considered a combination of genuine belief in the greater good and Tau-engineered behavioral compliance. Though often mysterious and underrepresented in diplomatic matters, their importance in the Tau military machine is undeniable. The Vespid Stingwing squads, equipped with deadly neutron blasters, are feared shock troops capable of rapid deployment and effective surprise attacks.
Oh, fuck yeah. And they're fond of making that noise of like flying by your ear. You're like, fuck, get out of here.
Oh, I hate that noise.
Yeah, man.
It's like that thing, like if a flying bug sees you, they just like immediately just like make a beeline straight for your face.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you just start chomping in the air to try to bite them. They won't do that after that.
Oh god,
it's protein.
Yeah,
just some protein.
Bug protein.
Yeah, until you try to bite on a wasp or a bee, they're like, "Oh, no, chomp this bitch!"
You bite it right at the thorax, so the stinger part falls down, and you just have the angry guy in the front.
Nice, you've done 100%. This before. Nice.
That's how he's able to like just assert his dominance over the wildlife around
I just walk around like I bit a wasp in half. You really want to fight me? And they're like, "We're cool, bro. We're cool." Polar bears? Polar bears don't want this. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
They don't want none of this.
It's too much. And honestly, it's hard to handle, but I manage.
You manage.
When dealing with a polar bear, if it's white, good night. If a polar bear deals with Logan, also good night.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Let's talking about wasps and bees and stuff. Let's talk about their appearance and biology. I'm guessing they're more closely related to bees, or sorry, wasps. They look just angry all the time. The Vespid are a winged insectoid race characterized by a chitinous exoskeleton, compound eyes, and a complex caste-based physiology. They typically stand taller than humans and exhibit remarkable agility due to their natural flight capabilities. Vespid anatomy includes strong wings that allow them to maneuver rapidly in 3 dimensions, giving them a tactical advantage in uneven or vertical environments. Their breathing is adapted to the dense, ammonia-rich atmosphere of their homeworld, necessitating the use of filtration masks or helms when operating off-world. Vespid language consists of clicks and buzzes outside of normal human hearing range, which originally made communication with the Tau difficult. Their biology is also caste-based, which is distinct differences between males and females, as well as between soldiers and leaders. The Tau Communion Helm interfaces directly with the brain structure of Vespid leaders, enabling Tau Command to guide their behavior and maintain cohesion within the larger goals of the Empire.
Man, they look cool. I just keep looking at the little.
So cool.
Yeah, the new ones. They just got a new kit like a year ago. I just keep looking at that little stinger and wonder if they ever use it, you know?
Yeah.
They don't use it because what's a big thing? The Tyranids. They fly at Tyranids, and the Tyranids keep biting them in half, so they can't use it. So they quit trying.
Ah, goddamn.
Do they all have that stinger, or is it just one of them?
I feel like everyone I've seen has it. If you
There's
really
that says
look
they
for
die
it.
if they use it.
I have to use it.
Yeah.
It has
No, that's
on the tabletop. It's got devastating wounds. Does 3 damage flat.
Yeah.
Hazardous, so it might kill them. We just
Very
wrote B
cool.
rules for 40k. I love it.
Perfect.
Let's talk about their lore powers and abilities instead of the made up ones. You all might see a dog jump up next to me while I'm reading this. The Vespid possess unique abilities that make them well suited to their role in the Tau Empire's military. Their most prominent trait is flight, granted by a powerful set of wings and lightweight exoskeleton, allowing them to engage in hit-and-run attacks and navigate otherwise inaccessible terrain. Their natural agility and quick reflexes provide excellent battlefield mobility, making them hard targets for enemy fire. The Vespid also possess enhanced vision through their multifaceted eyes, granting them superior situational awareness and tracking ability. In combat, stingwings are often outfitted with neutron blasters, Tau-modified crystalline weapons capable of melting through heavy armor. These weapons are biotuned to Vespid physiology, making them difficult for other species to wield. While not psionically gifted or particularly durable, their strength lies in rapid strikes, aerial mobility, and coordination under Tau direction. The communication helm enhances their capability for battlefield cohesion, effectively translating commands and intentions from Tau leaders in real time. Oh yeah, they are wasps. Look at that.
Yeah, Vespid means wasp. From the family of Vespididae. Yeah, for sure.
Their strains, the Vespid skin color is dependent on individual strains. The strains these strains differ between many Vespid nations and are further diversified with variations in patterning, molting, etc. Some strains have become renowned for especially pronounced physical or mental characteristics, such as heightened aggression or ferocity. The females are larger. I like we're talking about what they look like. The last thing, the females are larger. I want there to.
I've always liked my Vespids large.
I like them round.
Damn, boy, that Vespid thick.
She's thick.
Damn, boy.
I think all of these are on 32 mil bases. I want one to be like on a 40 or a 50, and it's just a female one.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
Looks the same.
Yeah, it looks identical. It's just huge.
Yeah, I think they have queens and a couple other like workers and stuff like that. Like not all stingwings become the warrior caste. Like the stingwings is a specific warrior caste in the Vespid. So yeah, when we think about like sizes or strains, some might not have wings apparently. And yeah, some might be super large or all types. Takes all types to make a Vespid family.
Oh, they're on 28 mil bases, which makes the queen being on a 40 or a 50 even funnier.
Yeah,
she big. Oh Lord, she coming.
Look at the side of that.
Is that a Saturn Terminator?
Oh,
or a
no, she
Vespid
coming.
queen?
Oh no.
Oh no. History. The Vespid's history prior to Tau contact remains largely unknown, as the species had little interaction with the wider galaxy before their integration into the Tau Empire. Their initial encounter with the Tau likely occurred during the Empire's second phase expansion. Early communication attempts proved difficult due to the Vespid's unique atmospheric requirements and complex language. Integration was achieved through Tau ingenuity, particularly the innovation of the communion helm, which allowed the ethereals to directly influence Vespid leaders and secure their allegiance. Since their induction, the Vespid have shown consistent loyalty and effectiveness in service, appearing in several notable campaigns across the Eastern Fringe. Some observers speculate that the Communion Helm may exert more control over the Vespid than publicly acknowledged, though this remains unconfirmed. Regardless, the Vespid have cemented themselves as reliable, if mysterious, element within the growing Tau hegemony, preferring military operations with unwavering efficiency and dedication to the greater good. Yeah, so this is another race where they probably wouldn't ever leave their planet if not for the Tau coming and kind of swooping them up, giving them just that right piece of technology here or there.
What I heard you say is the Tau are brainwashing them to be their servants.
That's the other way to say it, for sure.
Very
Yeah.
communist.
Yeah.
There's the grimdark.
Yeah, you read about their encounter with the Galg, and you're like, why are the Galg with them? Like, what transpired there? And then you read about the Vespid, and you realize, okay, so Tau can get a little sneaky sometimes and just start kind of taking on client races.
Must have been difficult when they have that mind control, and all the ethereals are hearing is just this discount xenos and.
Oh God. Yeah.
But I was reading a comment.
Yeah, I was reading this one too. It kind of was cool. Banished Cobalt says, cool. Be cool if they release some Vespid aerial vehicles for tabletop. Yeah, like not vehicles, big Vespid bitches that, you mount on the bottom side of it as the big Vespid bitch flies across the battlefield and then you detach, That's what we need.
I think even funnier, the big Vespid chick, she can be a transport for the smaller Vespid things.
Oh, yes.
So let's put her on 100 mil base. Let's go hard in the paint.
Yes.
Don't ask where the Vespid spawned from.
Yeah, I was gonna say you almost need like a Vespid carrier where they're just like strapped under the wings, and as they're like going across, they just like drop them like bombs.
We love that.
Okay, that was a lot more
just
clean than what I was thinking of. So.
Yeah, dropping them on their stinger.
Yeah,
I like it.
Purge, to answer your question, are they good snipers like the Yanmei from Halo? Drones or buggers for those not in the know? Are you sure you're not talking about the Jackals? Because the Jackals are the snipers. I've only ever seen a drone or a bugger have like a plasma pistol or a plasma rifle. But it's been a long time since I played Halo, so. So someone that has recently played it, feel free to correct me. And then I like Lupercal's comment. So this episode has confirmed something for me. The races that the Tau align with are better than the Tau.
True.
Yeah.
So there was concept art of a sniper drone, but it was never introduced into the games. So there you go.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. So yes, they are better snipers than the Yanmei because they actually have snipers. Okay, all this talk about bugs and stuff. What is the Vespid homeworld like and their galactic geography? The Vespid originate from the gas-rich world of Vespid, located on the eastern edge of the galaxy and within the sphere of Tau influence, kind of like the Tau originating from Tau. Their homeworld is characterized by dense mountainous terrain and a heavy ammonia-laden atmosphere that would be lethal to most other species. These harsh environmental conditions play a key role in shaping the Vespid evolution, favoring flight, agility, and specialized respiratory systems, of course, because their world smells like piss. The Vespid dwell in large, hive-like
Hey, yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Another filthy Xenos here. They're living on piss world.
Literally, filthy, like ammonia-laden. That's piss. Like, come on. Give me a second. Okay. The Vespid dwell in large, hive-like cliffside colonies, often built into the vertical rock faces that dominate their planet's jagged surface. The difficulty of surviving on such a hostile, piss-filled world may have contributed to their caste-based society and rapid military adaptation. Vespid remains under Tau control and functions as both a recruiting ground and a resource contributor to the Empire. What do you want with a piss-laden world, Tau? Come on.
It's an outhouse for along the way of international travel.
Due to its ammonia-laden piss atmosphere and geography, the world is largely off-limits to non-Vespid personnel, as it should, though the Tau maintain a strong orbital infrastructure to ensure continued cooperation and security. I'm going to mute myself now.
Yeah, I like that, man. I like the piss world for sure. Ain't that fun? Cool planet. I always pictured this like they might have changed the description a little bit, but back in the day, one of the descriptions I read of Vespid was like it was a gas giant, and they had like the floating crystal hives essentially that would float in this gas giant. So then they'd fly around, and there's some really big like continent-sized floating islands or whatever. But I always read it as like this floating kind of almost like Pandora from Avatar with like floating islands, but cloud-based.
That'd be sweet, actually.
Yeah, and like you picture like in Avatar, they have all those dragons like come out of all the mountains. Just swap that for Vespid. You know, that same kind of vibe.
Super sick.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, let's talk about some different things like their culture and beliefs. The Vespids believe in a culture of wet work. I mean,
Oh, mods, ban him. Ban him too. This is
ban
gross.
him
This is not a
too.
Nurgle
No.
episode.
Oh man.
Ben Plain
First-
Jane too, floating bladder stones. Yeah,
So
everyone's
Can I have
getting.
mod? Give me mod. Mark, give me mod.
Yeah.
I love it. There you
First,
go.
that makes a good
Look-
point. No Bobby, so Loop has to step in.
Yes.
Love it. Oh man, the culture of the Vespid is still poorly understood by outsiders, but known elements suggest a deeply hierarchical society structured around caste roles and colony allegiance. Their social cohesion is strong, and authority is centered around matriarchal or centralized leadership figures. Interpreted through the lens of Tau ethereal guidance, before contact with the Tau, Vespid likely operated through tribal or hive-based governance, with leaders making decisions for their colony. The adoption of the Tau's greater good philosophy appears sincere among Vespid leaders, though it may be bolstered by the communion helms they wear. Ritual, honor, and duty seem central to Vespid warrior behavior, and they demonstrate high levels of discipline in coordinated action. Their communication methods, based on subsonic pulses and wing vibrations, convey complex information and social status. While the full extent of their beliefs remain a mystery, their actions suggest a culture that values unity, obedience, and collective survival over individual ambition. Yeah.
I like the way they communicate. Very cool. Very just like, just so alien, man.
They're aliens of aliens.
Yeah.
Love it.
So let's talk about their tech. Though originally considered to be technologically primitive, the Vespid have benefited significantly from the Tau technological integration. Their native tech level appears to have been relatively low, focusing on survival within their extreme environment rather than the expansion or warfare. Since joining the Tau Empire, they have been equipped with advanced Tau manufactured gear, most notably their customized neutron blasters. These weapons, derived from crystalline technologies found on Vespid itself, were enhanced by Tau engineers to produce armor-penetrating energy blasts. Their flight gear, breathing apparatuses, and communication helms are all designed by the Tau and optimized for Vespid biology. These technological additions have elevated them to a mobile strike force within the Empire. There is little evidence that the Vespid engage in independent technological development, instead relying on the Tau to provide and maintain the systems they use. Their synergy with Tau science represents one of the more successful examples of cross-species military integration in the galaxy. The real question, do we think they had a Bronze Age?
No Bronze Age.
Skill
No,
issue.
no. Just the age of piss for them.
They had a toilet bowl age. That's about as far as they got.
Yeah.
They had a toilet bowl age where they started saving the piss. The bowl, the toilet bowl.
Don't flush. If it's yellow, let it mellow.
Oh, just down on the polar bear.
Oh no! Oh no!
No. Oh man. Yeah, they had some cool technology that was made by the Tau specifically for them. Specifically the communion helm and the neutron weapons, but I'll talk about the communion helm. Vespid communion helms are Tau manufactured masks or helmet worn by Vespid strain leaders. Even among the Tau, the technology behind the communion helm is mysterious, as the Earth caste created the device following the orders of the ethereal caste. What is known is that the Vespids view the world around them in a different way than other sentient beings, and their perspective is so far removed that they often fail to think that other species are sentient. The communion helm allows for communication between the Vespid and the Tau, although some of the Ordo Xenos theorize the helm actually attunes its wearer to the worldview of the Tau. This was kind of an interesting little trip of just how the Vespids see everything. Like, they don't even see other things as sentient, potentially. Like, does that mean that they maybe aren't sentient? Like, it's not in their mind? They're just like a hive mind, maybe? Like,
Very interesting, but very sus with that last sentence was just like the helm actually attunes its wearer to the worldview of the Tau.
Yeah. Convenient.
Don't trust it. Don't trust it.
Sus. Was it Tau or the Forerunner tech's reverse engineered? It was the Forerunner tech that was reverse engineered by the Covenant, but not to a good degree as the humans did. To answer your question, Purge. But speaking of reverse engineered technology, and Mark just mentioned their neutron weapons, so that's what I'm going to go over. Neutron weapons are a unique combination of Tau and Vespid technologies. At the heart of neutron weapons are a unique crystal found on the Vespid homeworld. Hopefully one that does not smell like piss. The crystal is energetic and unstable, but can be modulated by the vibrations of Vespid's wings. The crystal is mounted in a case designed by the Tau that projects neutrons through the crystal. This combination makes neutron weapons some of the most lethal weapons of their size. Its neutron blast is so powerful that it can easily punch through most armor. The weapon also has the added safety feature of only being able to be fired by a Vespid. Other creatures cannot modulate the crystal. So, in Custodes terms, this makes me think of a... just like any of their weapons, which are like gene coded to them.
Yeah, except it's not gene coded. Like, yeah, very similar concept of locked weapons. But these guys, I believe it has to do with the beating of their wings and the pulses or whatever helps modulate this. I'm not a science guy. You've heard me say it before. I don't know space physics, but that's kind of what I gathered from it.
Interesting. And of course, there are variations of it, which is a neutron blaster, the most common version, the Sting, which is like your one-handed pistol version, the rail rifle, the grenade launcher, and the grenade. So,
yeah, cool. Fun guns. I've used these guys before on tabletop. I've kind of always liked this high AP. You always play in Space Marines. Every time you play a tabletop, you play in Space Marines, even if you're a Space Marine. So you got to have that AP3. So the Vespid were always sweet.
Well, besides their neutron blasters, they got some pretty cool vessels. So they've got nest vessels, Vespid stalactite-like nest vessels Dude, God, he's trying to trip me up, I swear. Are the primary means by which the Vespid species travel through space. Serving as both spacecraft and mobile hive colonies, these ships are uniquely adapted to sustain the dense, ammonia-rich atmosphere of Vespid Prime, making them inhospitable to most other species. While rare and poorly understood by outsiders, nest vessels are believed to operate under the guidance of Vespid leaders and may serve as extensions of their native hive structure, maintaining their caste system even while in transit.
Cool.
All I
These
can just imagine is just like a long, sharp rock just floating through space with an
yeah.
engine on it.
Yeah, like this is how I pictured their planet. Like these stalactite like structures that are just floating in their gas planet. And eventually, every now and again, one might escape the orbit of the planet and then they strap weapon or engines on it, like you said, and then fly it around. So they kind of take
Yeah.
like a piece of their home world and start flying around with it essentially.
I know they want me to go to war, but man, I really just want to take my house with me.
I'm a homebody, what can I say?
I'm a home.
I don't know why. I know this isn't what it was going for, but my brain thought of like what they do in the shadows, where the vampire always has to have a little bit of the dirt from his homeland in his coffin or under him.
yeah,
The
exactly. Otherwise, they're
yeah,
done.
exactly. The Vespid are
you
just
know?
like, here's my sack of dirt from my nest.
The chat is loving all the piss shenanigans. They're talking about Vespid's grenades just being a capsule full of piss. It's all piss coated. The heavier the stream, the bigger the weapon you get. So they have
I'm not gonna lie, the
piss
piss-coated weaponry sounds hilarious.
piss coated weapon.
Chat is so gross.
You accidentally piss on the wrong crystal and you accidentally launched the ship.
Oh man.
I love it.
Man.
Gross.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
Don't cross the streams.
Jesus.
That's how you get a neutron explosion, I'm sure.
I'm sorry. I thought this was a Warhammer podcast. I didn't know it was all piss play.
Oh God.
It's
What have we
all
done?
bad. Poor Gerald is dying over there. Audio listeners, you can't
Yeah.
see. Gerald's lights are off. He's leaning back, covering his face, just trying to self-soothe right now. He's red. He's red in the face, chat.
Man.
Oh man.
That last one broke me. Congratulations, Ursats.
Don't cross the streams. No.
I've got a quote to start my section, and I'm glad I read who this was first, because I thought it was like one of the Vespids or something, so I was going to do a really weird voice. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. How do I want to do this?
Man, as long as it's not your sexy Conrad Kurz voice, any other voice is going to be good coming out of you.
Watch the flank for these xenos, my brothers, for death is heralded by the sound of their wings. Scout Sergeant Morphidius of the Brazen Claws.
Oh my God. That was a Space Marine, huh?
Yeah. He's only a Scout Sergeant. He doesn't have that bass in his voice that a power armor wearer user gets. You know,
Yeah.
when he becomes a real Space Marine in real armor, then he can go, brothers, and he can sound like that. He has to earn that right.
Yeah.
It's part of their their voice getting deeper is part of the augmentation process when they become a real Astartes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I guess if you're a Space Marine Scout, you might literally just be a 13-year-old punk ass kid with a bolter.
That like
so your voice
yeah,
might be like
7
that.
foot tall 13-year-olds. Let's get him, guys! I'm gonna be a real Astartes. Mickey Mouse.
Let's go
I'm
shoot.
a real
Let's go shoot him with the
Astartes.
waters.
Oh my god.
For the Emperor!
God, we went Disney coded. Never go Disney coded. Just stay piss coded.
Oh no!
Oh no! Hey,
All I
Goofy,
can think
take your
about
stupid.
is all I can think about after Logan said all that was just like he sounded like Ginger from Shrek. Gingerbread
Oh,
Man.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not my gumdrop
Not
buttons.
the gumdrop buttons. I'm a real boy.
Do you
Oh
know?
no!
Do you know the Vespid man,
Do you know the
He lives on
ethereal?
Pissy Lane.
the ethereal, the ethereals?
The ethereals.
Oh
All right.
god!
So that's been 5 minutes after I've read a quote. my section. In the Tau military hierarchy, Vespids function as an elite shock troops and rapid response units. Known collectively as the Vespid Stingwings, their warriors serve in specialized auxiliaries and formations, deployed for speed, flanking maneuvers, and urban or vertical combat scenarios where flight capabilities give them an edge. And I almost started to laugh there because their names are Vespid Stingwings. So it's like Wasp, Stingy, Fly is their name.
Yeah, okay,
It's
that is pretty
so
dumb.
on the
I
head. Like I didn't know Vespid was related to Wasp. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
No.
No, their name is Wasp, Stabby, Fly. That's silly,
Yeah. Less adjectives, please, next time. When
right?
naming.
Just Alien McXenoface. Just call it that. All right. Armed with the powerful neutron blasters, Vespid squads are capable of piercing Space Marine armor, fake news, and neutralizing hundreds of targets with precision, also fake news. Their battlefield presence is often sudden and overwhelming as they descend from above or sweep across the terrain, inaccessible to more ground units. They operate in small, tightly coordinated groups under the direction of Tau command structures, facilitated by the communication helms that link Vespid leaders to Tau strategists. While they lack the staying power of heavy infantry, their agility and shock value makes them highly effective in ambush and support roles. Vespid participation in battles like those on Delath and Medusa 5 highlight the ongoing strategic value. I just want to point out for the Vespid fanboys, Imperium has an answer, and it's much more violent than you.
Okay, so it's a Primaris Marine with a power fist, jump pack, and what, like a
Of
plasma
course.
pistol on there? Okay, I see that. But one question for you. What does he smell like?
Ceramite and pride.
No. We don't do that here. Only piss for us here.
Who's this we?
Titan and piss.
You guys have mice
That's
in your
it.
pockets?
That's
There's a lot
all
of
we
we
do.
talk going on. I don't know who this we is. Don't involve me.
What Lorehammer meme have I started?
Yeah, a little piss play for Lorehammer.
See,
That's
Gerald,
nice.
you've got piss play. Court has his tooth thing. I hate. I slander everyone. This is just everyone's got a thing.
Yeah. All right. The Stingwings. The Stingwings are the Malcor in the Tau language. Core actually means air. So now we got, even in the Tau language, they're pretty shittily named. Something air. Our Vespid Auxiliary Squad, Stingwings, sometimes referred to as Royal Bodyguards, are the base Vespid tactical unit and are most commonly used to protect the Vespid Hive leadership class. More recently, they have been used by the Tau Empire as auxiliary infantry and even kill team units due to their speed and tenacity. The Tau value Stingwings greatly and sometimes equip them with weaponry only reserved for battlesuits. And then these ranks are from the kill team box set that just came out. They're interesting. Like, are these ranks across all of Vespid society? Are these ranks just ranks that the Tau made to kind of try to categorize them, since the Vespid aren't really talkers? Hard to say, but we do know that these kind of exist, and they can maybe give you some ideas on what to do with your own. So the Strain Leader. Squad leaders fitted with the Vespid Communion Helm and equipped with a neutron blaster. They are tasked primarily with interpreting command of the Stingwing's Tau handler and relaying it to the rest of the squad. The precise role they play in the greater Vespid society is unclear, but Vespid obey their orders without question. Then we got your warrior, and that's just your standard guy that comes with the neutron blaster. Then we got the long sting, marksmen equipped with neutron rail rifle, who can use their flight to rapidly change positions, making them deadly snipers amidst dense terrain. Yeah, so like this guy, it's not like it's like anything different. Like it's not like his body's different. He's just a sniper. So this is what I'm saying. Like these ranks are kind of wish-washy, you know? We got the Shade Strain, rarer type of warrior that are equipped with camouflaging ghost rigs, equipped with neutron sting and neutron grenades. That's pretty fucking cool. Sky Blast, close quarters heavy weapons warriors equipped with neutron grenade launcher. Okay. Swarm Guard, close quarters heavy weapon warriors equipped with a Tau Flamer. And the Oversight Drone, used by the Tau Stingwing Handler to monitor activities. So yeah, this kind of brings a nice little like clarification on who's actually controlling these guys. Like, you know, the Ethereals commissioned the helm, but I don't think the Ethereals are actually using them and manning them. I think that's like they're giving it to Fire Warrior commanders and stuff to try to lead them in war and stuff. You know, I that's kind of how I see it operating. You know, it's not like they have an Ethereal tied to them.
What if the helm is controlling them, but they just give command to a local squad guy?
Yeah, like exactly. Like when you're part of the greater good, you know that the Tau might use you as a xenos sacrifice or like whatever. So yeah, you can just give it to your local Tau Firecast warrior and be like, what do you need? Just tell them to go do what you need. You need them to go run coffee runs for you? Whatever. Just, they're yours now. Cool. Yeah, the ranks are fun.
Yeah.
Cool little ranks.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So how do the Vespid interact with the rest of the galaxy other than the Tau as discount Covenant drones? The Vespid maintain no independent diplomatic presence, relying entirely on the Tau to represent them in galactic affairs. As auxiliaries, they are seen by the wider galaxy as part of the Tau Empire rather than as a sovereign race. To the Imperium, they are xenos to be destroyed, naturally, as you do, though relatively little attention has been paid to them due to their limited deployment outside Tau space. Other alien empires, such as the Orcs or Tyranids, make no distinction between the Vespid and their Tau allies, engaging them with equal hostility, again, as you do. Within the Tau's interstellar coalition, the Vespid are considered reliable and trusted, even if not fully understood. There have been no reports of rebellion or dissent among their ranks, and they are often cited as a model for successful assimilation into the greater good. Good for them. While mysterious to most outsiders, their loyalty, discipline, and performance continue to strengthen their reputation within the Empire's growing galactic sphere.
Yeah, cool. What a reputation to like have for never rebellion or even dissenting, like never disagreeing once with those orders. That's nice for the Tau.
It's almost like they have total control. It's really crazy.
Dang.
You don't get that very often.
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah. Representation, minis and rules. Minis, they have minis, like we mentioned. They got minis like a year ago. A whole bunch of, I don't know, there's like 10 new minis for them. Where back in the day, we used to only have 5 individual models for them. And they were all kind of like, what sucked about them is they weren't flying and their wings were all kind of out and awkward and lame. Like they just don't look natural, the old ones. So the new kit's quite the upgrade. And with it comes all the kill team rules. You know, they're perfect in kill team. You also see them on tabletop too. Maybe you see them in Gothic with like their nest ship, but
That would be cool.
I don't know about that.
Giant cocoon.
It could be cool. Yeah, it's like, how do you make your nest ship instead of 3D printing one? You just go outside and grab like a pine
Or you go
cone
outside and actually grab a real wasp nest like a man. Put that on the tabletop.
something.
Like a man.
Hey, just throw it at your opponent.
Pocket wasp. Ah!
Pocket wasp. Oh goddamn.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Oh man.
Well, that's all the Xenos we have for this episode. What was your guys' favorite? Let's go around and share what we liked. Let's start with Brody.
Sure. I like the Tarellian dog soldiers. They're my favorite personally. Just the idea of like how they're just so chapped about the Imperium beating them. They're like,
Yeah.
just I hate those guys.
Yeah, like it seems like it's
Just-
become their whole identity, you know.
yeah, exactly.
They
So,
gave up
but I also
rebuilding. They're like, now we're not going to rebuild. We've had 10,000 years to rebuild our civilization, but nah. We're
They're
just,
just constantly yelling, "Remember the Alamo."
exactly.
yelling.
Yeah, remember the Alamo. But yeah, I like those guys the best. I also like that, like they're kind of like I know it says like they use some firearms and stuff, but is also really good with melee weaponry and ambush situations. For some reason, in my brain, I imagine them um with like short range devastation style weapons like shotguns and like really or just like really large caliber slug throwers that are just like maybe really crude but really powerful, and then also having giant machetes or axes or clubs and stuff that they use as well.
Yeah, and I can
So
I can picture them like upgrading their body too. So it's like on their wrists, maybe they have like sharpened claws a little bit, or their tail they add like a
yeah.
bald mace on it, or
Oh, sick. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Stuff like that. And also like when I think reptiles and ambushes, I think of them dropping from like they're like on the roof and they just like drop down and like they don't come from like the sides or like just above or whatever. They literally come from all angles. They like punch up through like the sewers and stuff when they're in like an urban
yeah,
area. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I like those guys. My
yeah.
favorite.
Fun vibe for sure. Fun vibe.
Mhm.
Logan, what about you? Which one spoke to you?
You know, I've always liked the Vespids. I've always liked the look of them. And I wish, like, for all of these, we came up with cool ways they could be used on the tabletop, and the Vespids are a good example of them. I just think GW needs to be willing to, like, diversify. Like, the Orcs have a billion different units. Why can't the Tau have a billion different auxiliary units? Like, that would be such a cooler faction and played a lot more if they just did stuff other than, oh, they shoot a lot. Okay, but there's cooler stuff. Let's bring more of it in, please.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the Tau, they get shooting and that's all. They're missing out on psychic. Usually they miss out on movement because if you move, then you don't get a shoot. Like they need some more
Yeah,
stuff.
they just
going
buffed them, though, like a lot with the
Hmm.
latest balanced data slate.
on. Okay. Gerald, what about you?
I would say as much as I like the Tarellians, because I do like my lizard crocodile factions, I might actually go with the Vespid on this one because they do seem pretty cool and interesting and a lot more fleshed out as other than the Kroot as far as auxiliary species. And I know I will continually make the joke about how their discount Covenant, but the Vespid actually seem a lot cooler than the drones from Halo because they actually do more than just fly around like little shits that shoot you with plasma pistols.
Yeah.
Right.
So in summary, the Tau are Timu Covenant with piss play and tentacle dildos, and the Imperium is just kink shaming them. So that's your statement there, Gerald?
Maybe not the maybe not the piss play and the tentacle dildos, but yeah, they are Tower still discount Covenant to me. But you know what? If I ever show up to a tournament, I will just grab Covenant models from Halo Flashpoint and say, okay, here's my Tau army.
Here we go. New Xenos. New Warp Rift opened. What kind of Xenos came through? Ooh. As for me, I think I'm going to go with the Tarellian dog soldiers.
So
Just Yeah, they're so cool, and just the fact that you could build such a fun army with them so easily. I think that's kind of the building aspect of them would be so fun, man, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Great lore as well, fun. But yeah, that building. Cool. Well, that's an episode of Lorehammer, I suppose. It's already getting late. I guess no call-ins today. Yeah, we tried. We got carried away with piss play and what that's
Who
bound
is
to
this
happen.
we?
And then
You keep saying we.
all four of us and the
Yeah,
chat
we.
are
I know what
all
you're talking
involved
about.
in this.
That's what we're trying to say, Logan. It's all about we.
Yeah.
We. It is the we or we.
Exactly. Nobody gets it.
It's we with two E's. Okay.
What's this? What's this wee shit, Kimosabe?
Right.
Yeah, fun episode. Next episode, I think we got our last minor Xenos episode, and then we're going to Blood Angels. So come check out our last minor Xenos, and yeah, end of the notes. Come check out Lorehammer Listener Lore podcast. I read out listener lore, I suppose, homebrew lore. Come check it out.
And if you want fantasy Tarellians, come check out the Grimoire podcast. We've actually done episodes on the Lizardman and the Seraphon from AOS. I think Mark was on the Seraphon episode. So you get to hear us bitch about AOS. So win-win.
Nice.
And if you want a break from all this really fun stuff, come check out my YouTube channel, Hydra Thoughts. We talk about cryptids, conspiracies, and a ton of other fun things. Right now, got a video coming out soon about sleep paralysis demons. So come check that out.
Oh, fuck. Have you ever had
I
sleep
have. I actually had
paralysis?
it a couple weeks ago. So I'm not going to spoil
man.
the video, but I still have them occasionally, but they're easy to deal with now.
Okay. Yeah, it changes when you know what's happening, but
yeah.
it's still fucking
Oh
weird,
yeah, it's
man.
just freaky.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm Hobby Hour in the Green Room. We've got a few pictures up on Instagram and whatnot, and doing on Instagram, doing Instagram lives as well. So for painting projects and
nice.
whatnot. So it's a good
Very
time.
fun. Yeah, shoot me a message next time you do a live, and maybe we'll tag team that situation.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah. Well, that's an episode of Lorehammer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all on the next one. Have a good one.